Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shira Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Shira Jaya Prabhupada 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 Shila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Shila Prabhupada. Just go there. Go again. Prabhu, can you check down in the kitchen? Finished already. Check on the table. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachari Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatale Hare Krishna. We read from the Transcendental Diary by Hari Prabhu. A devotee, so we are on Sri Vrindavan Dham, September 7th, 1976. It's a few pages after that. And yeah, a devotee said that he remembered Prabhupada once writing to Jadurani Dasi along the same lines. Prabhupada nodded and said, "Yes, I saw that when she first came, I saw that here she got a little tendency for painting. So I engaged immediately that you go on painting whatever you can." So in the beginning, she was not a good painter, but still I said, anyway, you paint Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Nityananda, and whatever you paint, it is accepted. This is not the art, but it is the service. But I clarified that Rasananda's situation was different. His point was that he doesn't have any service. So he was thinking, if he learns something, because he already has a medical background, so let him serve in that way, Prabhupada said. If he has got a little medical background, let him utilize that. Yes, he wanted to branch out into Ayurvedic so that he could. Prabhupada cut him. That is his whims. He said quite strongly, that is not service. Satisfied that I had covered the topic and not wanting to bother Srila Prabhupada any further, I told him I would write Rasananda a letter to that effect. Srila Prabhupada here is yesterday, like Maharaj was saying, that he asked his disciples, no, you don't have to go externally to learn anything to perform devotional service. If you already know, then you utilize that. But for devotional service, you don't have to externally go out and learn anything new. Prabhupada is giving the example of Jadurani Dasi. She was one of the first painters in in ISKCON, and Srila Prabhupada, he said these paintings, they are windows to the spiritual world. You know, not not you do not find paintings in many books. What Srila Prabhupada did was quite a revolutionary thing because he would, in all of his books, we find such nice paintings. Right? If you go through the paintings, they are such beautiful paintings. Anyone who sees these paintings will be so attracted. And when we distribute books, also sometimes we show just the paintings, just see these paintings, and people are like, wow, these paintings are so good. So, and Srila Prabhupada, he engaged Jadurani Dasisi was a painter, and he engaged her in the service. And she was not very good in the beginning. She was not like perfect, but Srila Prabhupada, he says, you are doing devotional service. Anything you do is accepted. Is not from the sorry, from the material platform. It may seem the painting is not perfect, but because she is doing devotional service in the spiritual platform, is accepted by Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada, he personally instructed how to paint. He would say like things like how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu looked like, how Krishna looked, and the Vishnu Tattva, he said, should always have a halo. It's like a light behind them. So he gave all these instructions. So all these paintings, you see these under the instructions of Srila Prabhupada. And so he is giving an example of painting, and in the same way he is saying, she already knew painting, that's why I engaged her. But of course, if you want to learn something new for devotional service, it's not needed. Whatever you have, we engage that in the service. Of course, we always want to improve our service and we learn things, but the point here is external qualification is not needed. It's the devotion that's needed. Right? So, anything you'd like to add? Musical also. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, this is also a good point. You don't need musical talent. Also, you can learn, but Srila Prabhupada, when he was sending disciples to London, he called 6 of his disciples to Montreal, and he first told them, Kirtan is not a musical performance. He really emphasized this point. But again, he also taught them how to play things nicely so that people could appreciate. Right? So this is understanding while doing kirtan also. We understand that this is not a performance, and you don't have to be a good singer. You don't have to be a musician to sing kirtan. In fact, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he would ask us. He had a disciple. His name was Sridhar Swami, and he would ask devotees who did not have very good voice to lead kirtans, because he wanted to make this point that you do not need a good voice to sing kirtan. So it's whatever we have. We have good voice, we use that. We don't have, we still sing. This Krishna looks at your devotion. So the topic was about we don't need anything external material qualification. stop there. Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Is it a Jivan Prabhu? Offered? A little late, about 10 minutes later. Okay. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirai Nasta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavate Uttaman Sloke Bhakti Karoti Vachakam Pangam Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 19, Text 10. Praname Dandavad Bhumau Praname Dandavad Bhumau Bhakti Pravena Chetasa Bhakti Pravena Chetasa Dasavaram Japin Mantram Dasavaram Japin Mantram Tatastru Stotram Udiraye Tatastotram Udiraye Praname Dandavad Bhumau Praname Dandavad Bhumau Bhakti Pravena Chetasa Bhakti Pravena Chetasa Dashavaram Japin Mantram Dashavaram Japin Mantram Tatastotram Udiraye Tatastotram Udiraye Praname Dandavad Bhumau Praname Dandavad Bhumau Bhakti Pravena Chetasa Bhakti Pravena Chetasa Dashavaram Japin Mantram Dashavaram Japin Mantram Tatastotram Udiraye Tatastotram Udiraye Praname Dandavad Bhumau Praname Dandavad Bhakti Pravena Chetasa Bhakti Pravena Chetasa Dashavaram Japin Dashavaram Japin Tatastotram Udiraye Tatastotram Udiraye Praname Dandavad Praname Dandavad Bhumau Bhakti Pravena Chetasa Dashavaram Japin Mantram Tatastotram Udiraye Praname Dandavad Bhakti Pravena Chetasa Dashavaram Japin Mantram Tatastotram Udiraye Praname Dandavad Bhumau Bhakti Pravena Chetasa Dashavaram Japin Mantram Tatastotram Udiraye. Word for word, Praname should offer obeisances. Dandavat, like a stick. Bhumau, on the ground. Bhakti, through devotion. Pravena, humble. Chetasa, with a mind. Dashavaram, 10 times. Japet should utter mantram, the mantra, tasa, then sutram, prayer, Puriraet, should chant. Translation: one should offer obeisances unto the Lord with a mind humbled through devotion, while offering dandavats by falling on the ground like a rod. One should chant the above mantra 10 times. Then one should chant the following prayer. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananandjana Shri Chaitanya Manonustanam Sthapitam Yena Bhagale Sanapavidam Bhagati Swaha. So in this verse, we see the word dandavat. This is something we do a couple of times every day, like Prabhu is right now doing. So this is the proper way to offer dandavats. You are um, falling down like a stick. It shows that you are offering yourself to the personality, to your guru, or to the Supreme Lord. And it's called, you offer dandavat with 7 different angas. It's called sastanga. So you use your hands, your head, your nose, I think chest. And so I'm not sure the exact, but you offer with the 7 angas of your body. So every anga should be touching the body, right? So, and in the nectar of devotion, and when you offer half dandavats, your chest is not touching the body. In the nectar of devotion, it is said you should not offer dandavats with one hand also. So that's something I see sometimes. So when you have something on your hand, you put it on top and you offer incenses with both your hands. So dandavat is, people sometimes say, why do I have to come to temple to bow down? But it is a physical act that mentally also has an effect. Like something, it's a physical act of offering obeisances, and mentally also it forces you to become humble. There is a pastime where Garga Muni Prabhu, he is one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples. He would say, when Srila Prabhupada would come in 26 Second Avenue, he would come from the stairs, and then he would come into the room, and then everyone would offer the dandavats to Prabhupada. And Gargamani Prabhu once, he just told Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I do not feel like offering dandavats. I don't feel, when I do it, it feels so artificial. I don't want to do it. And Srila Prabhupada, he told him, you offer dandavats, then you will feel. Right? It's not first feeling and then doing. So the practice of devotional service is such that if we do it, gradually we'll start feeling. We'll get the emotion. Right? So offering dandavats also, it's an act of being humble before the Lord, before the spiritual master. And by doing that regularly, you start developing humility. And it is also said you have to offer prayers while doing dandavats loudly. The, the personality who is in front of you should hear the prayers. It should not be just on your mind. It should be like if you go to your spiritual master and offer dandavats, let's say you say your guru's prayer, then it has to be audible. So there's something about dandavats. And next, text 11. Yugam tu vishvasya vibhu jagata karanam param yam hi prakriti sukshma maya shaktir duratyaya. Translation: O Lord Vishnu and Mother Lakshmi, goddess of fortune, you are the proprietors of the entire creation. Indeed, you are the cause of the creation. Mother Lakshmi is extremely difficult to understand because she is so powerful that the jurisdiction of her power is difficult to overcome. Mother Lakshmi is represented in the material world as the external energy, but actually she is always the internal energy of the Lord. So Mother Lakshmi and her expansion is Durga Devi in this material world. And Durga Devi is in charge of the material world. Prabhu, can you check? Durga Devi is in charge of the material world. She is like the prison guard. You know, in a prison house, we have prison um, guards who do not allow the people in the jail to just come out. You cannot just come out of the jail. So Mother Durga is like that. She is the prison guard, and she is chastising the living entities with her Trishul. Have you seen the Trishul of Durga? She has this sword, but it has three spikes on it. And these three spikes are the three types of material miseries: Adibhautika, Adidaivika, Adhyatmika, Klesha. So, suffering caused by our mind and body, suffering caused by other living beings, and suffering caused by natural calamities. So, uh, the, the material energy of Durga Devi is always poking the living entities with these three kinds of suffering. And so that's the material energy. It's very difficult to overcome. I first we have no commentary by Prabhupada. I understood. Yeah. I will go. It's just explain. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Ah, yes. We have time. We have time. Yeah. Hmm. Text 12. We have until 10 o'clock. Text 12. Tasya adhisvara sakshat tvam eva purusha paraha tvam sarvayagya ijyeyam kriyeyam phalavok bhavan. Translation. My Lord, you are the master of energy, and therefore you are the supreme person. You are sacrifice, yajna personified. Lakshmi, the embodiment of spiritual activities, is the original form of worship offered unto you, whereas you are the enjoyer of all sacrifices. Text 13. Guna vyaktir iyam devi vyanjako guna bhavan tam hi sarva sariryatma Shri Sarendriyasyaha Namarupe Bhagavati Pratyayas Tvam Apashrayaha. Translation. Mother Lakshmi, who is here, is the reservoir of all spiritual qualities, whereas you manifest and enjoy all these qualities. Indeed, you are actually the enjoyer of everything. You live as the super soul of all living entities, and the goddess of fortune is the form of their bodies, senses, and minds. She also has a holy name and form, whereas you are the support of all such names and forms and the cause for their manifestation. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Madhavacharya, the acharyas of the Tattvavadis, has described this verse in the following way. Vishnu is described as Yajna personified, and Mother Lakshmi is described as spiritual activities and the original form of worship. In fact, they represent spiritual activities and the super soul of all yajna. Lord Vishnu is the super soul even of Lakshmi Devi, but no one can be the super soul of Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu himself is the spiritual super soul of everyone. Right? So yesterday we were discussing in the Gita that Krishna is the cause of all causes. Like Lord Brahma, he prays Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adi Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. So everything, for everything there is a cause, and then there is a cause, and then there is one ultimate cause, and that ultimate cause is Krishna. So we can see the material world has anything you see has a direct cause. Like let's say this building. This building came up because an engineer designed it first, and then you have material elements combined together. And then if you go one step further, you can then trace back where did the intelligence come from? Where did the material elements come from? So these all came from nature, right? So, and then you trace back. So by tracing back, and you come to the the whole material nature, and who is in charge of material nature? Like we said, Durga Devi, right? And how did Durga Devi come from? So she is expansion of Lakshmi Devi, who is Krishna's eternal consort. So everything has a cause, and the ultimate cause is Vishnu or Krishna, right? So just like anything material has a consciousness, that is why um, the living being is conscious because of the soul. So similarly, in the whole universal form, there is Lord Vishnu is present as the um, all-pervading energy. That is why things are running properly. So, meaning the Lord Vishnu, he is the super soul, spiritual super soul in everything. So that is the point. That is the point that's missing whenever you only talk about material science. Then you miss this point that there is consciousness behind everything. So we move on. According to Madhavacharya, there are two tattvas or factors. One is independent and the other is dependent. The first tattva is the Supreme Lord Vishnu, and the second is Jiva tattva. Lakshmi Devi, being dependent on Lord Vishnu, is sometimes counted among the Jivas. Ah, okay. This is interesting. So first, Srila Prabhupada is saying there are two tattvas. Tattvas means truth that cannot be argued. So we have Vishnu tattva and Jiva tattva. So they are two different levels. You know, like we say Pancha tattva. Why do we say Pancha tattva? Because in the Pancha tattva you have all the tattvas. You have Vishnu tattva, you have Sakti tattva, you have Jiva tattva, you have Pancha tattva Makam Krishna, Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam, Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam, Namani Bhakta Shakti. So you have all these five. You have the Supreme Lord, you have the servitor Lord, who is Balaram, and then you have Shiva or Mahavishnu, right? That's Advaita Acharya. And then you have Radharani, who is Shakti Tattva, like Krishna's energy. And then you have who is Gadadhar, and then you have Narad Muni as Srivas Thakur. Right? So Narad Muni is Jiva Tattva. So you have all these five different tattvas in the Pancha Tattva. That's why we say Pancha Tattva. So Srila Prabhupada here is saying the first tattva is Vishnu Tattva. So all the incarnations of Vishnu, they are Vishnu Tattva. And he says that Lakshmi Devi, being dependent on Lord Vishnu, is sometimes counted among the Jivas. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas, however, describe Lakshmi Devi in accordance with following two verses from Prameya Ratnavali of Baladev Vidyabhushan. The first is a quotation from the Vishnu Purana. Nityaiva sa Jagannatha Vishnu Srir Anapayini Yatha Sarvagato Vishnus Tathaivyam Dvijottama Vishnus Yu Saktayas Isras Tasuya Kirtita Para Saiva Shri Stad Abhinneti Praha Sishyan Prabhur Mahan. So this is from Prameya Ratnavali of Baladev Vidyabhushan. Who is Baladev Vidyabhushan? Anyone knows? I think he is a disciple of Vishwanath Chakravarti. I'm not wrong. So could you pass me the Bhagavad Gita once? English. Just want to be sure that. Yeah, so he was a disciple of Vishwanath Chakravarti, who is in our line of acharyas. Right? So, and he gave is the personality who gave our commentary, something called Govinda Bhashya. He wrote the commentary. That's Baladev Vidyabhushan. Obeyed of the Brahmanas, Lakshmiji is the constant companion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, and therefore she is called Annapayini. She is the mother of all creation, as Lord Vishnu is all pervading. His spiritual potency, Mother Lakshmi, is also all pervading. Lord Vishnu has three principal potencies: internal, external, and marginal. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has accepted Parashakti, the spiritual energy of the Lord, as being identical with the Lord. Thus, she is also included in the independent Vishnu Tattva. So this is interesting that Lakshmi Devi, some of the Vaishnavas, they accept Lakshmi, they regard Lakshmi Devi sometimes as being among the Jivas. They consider her Jiva Tattva. But Baladev Vidyabhushan, who is our acharyas in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, we take on their authority that Lakshmi Devi is actually Vishnu Tattva. Right? That this is what Srila Prabhupada is. This is what the quotation, the Prameya Ratnavali says. Right? So, if I'm not wrong, I think the Sri Vaishnavas have this philosophy that Lakshmi Devi sometimes is regarded as Jiva Tattva. I could be wrong, but we need to double check. Do you know anything about this? Anyway, so in our line, we regard, like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has accepted, the Parashakti spiritual energy of the Lord as identical to the Lord. Thus, she is also included in the independent Vishnu Tattva. Right? So when we worship Lakshmi Devi, she is also included in the Vishnu Tattva. Right? In the Kanti Mala commentary on the Prameya Ratnavali, there is this statement. That's a long statement, so I'll just read the English. Although some authoritative Vaishnava disciplic successions count the goddess of fortune among the ever liberated living entities, jivas in Vaikuntha, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in accordance with the statement in the Vishnu Purana, has described Lakshmi as being identical with the Vishnu Tattva. The correct conclusion is that the descriptions of Lakshmi as being different from Vishnu are stated when an eternally liberated living entity is imbued with the quality of Lakshmi. Sorry, let me read that again. The correct conclusion is that the descriptions of Lakshmi as being different from Vishnu are stated when an eternally living and liberated living entity is imbued with the quality of Lakshmi. They do not pertain to Mother Lakshmi, the eternal consort of Lord Vishnu. Hmm. I did not understand the last sentence properly. I don't know if you understand that. But the one before that is again confirming the statement before that we in our line, in our Vaishnava Sampradaya, we accept Mother Lakshmi as Vishnu. Although it's exactly said here that although some authoritative Vaishnava disciplic successions count the goddess of fortune among the ever liberated living entities, jivas in Vaikuntha. So they are like Nityasiddhas. They are always liberated. They are in Vaikuntha, but they are in jivas. Some Vaishnava Sampradayas accept this, but we, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we accept Lakshmi as Vishnu Tattva. This is interesting. Yes, so these few verses here is glorifying Mother Lakshmi, or energy of Krishna. When we chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we have the living entity who is saying the mantra. You have Krishna, the Lord Himself, and then you have the energy of the Lord. Right? In any bona fide mantra, there should be these three elements present: the living entity, the Supreme Lord, and the energy. Right? For example, and most of the mantras in the Vedas that are glorifying the Supreme Lord are in a third person. For example, you Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So if you see this mantra, it's saying, I worship that Lord. So there is um, there is a concept that there is one living entity offering prayers to the Supreme Lord. And then there is, in the mantra, there is also Krishna's energy. But in the Maha Mantra, you do not find that second hand calling out to the Lord, because it's a direct calling to the Lord. It's interesting because in the Maha Mantra you have Hare Krishna. Hare is Krishna's energy, and Krishna is Krishna himself, right? So, and if you see Om, Prabhupada says it's composed of three letters: A, U, Ma. Right? And in these three, one is the living entity, one is the Supreme Lord, and one is the energy of Krishna. A, U, Ma, U. Right? So that is why Mahamantra is very special, because it's direct calling out to the energy of the Lord and to Krishna himself. The third person who is the living entity is you yourself. You yourself are calling out. I heard this from Mother Urmila, who is a Prabhupada disciple. Mother Urmila? Yeah. She had one seminar on why the Maha Mantra is so special. She was giving this example. Om is composed of A, U, Ma, and then in A, U, Ma you have I forgot which one is which. I forgot, but there is Krishna. There is Lord, there is the energy of the Lord, and there is the living energy. Right? So Mahamantra is very special. And in the Mahamantra, you have Hare. Hare is the vocative form of Hara. Like some, if you, in India, if you want to call a person who is like when you call out to someone, you make the last letter A. Yeah, Hara becomes Hare. So it's like calling out. The calling form of calling out to Mother Hara is Hare. So it's interesting. So that is why we are actually calling to Mother Hara to engage us in service of Krishna. Right? It's we are asking Mother Srimati Radharani to please engage me in Krishna's service. You are requesting the energy of Krishna. Right? So that is why whenever Lord is addressed, he is always addressed with the energy is addressed first. You never hear Krishna Radha. You always hear Radha Krishna. You hear Lakshmi Narayan. You don't hear Jaya Rama Sita Jaya. What do you hear? Jaya Sita Ram. So always the energy of the Lord comes first. So you address the energy and then you ask the energy of Krishna to engage us in Krishna's service.
Why the energy of why as Radha as why always in Hara? Why Hara? Why not
Okay, that's an interesting question. As far as I can understand, this is they are non-different. They are non-different. There is actually a sampradaya who chant Radha Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Radhe Radhe also. There is one sampradaya like that. But we understand, at least from Srila Prabhupada, that the word Radharani is very special. It's very deep, it's very esoteric. That is why Maharaj was saying in the Sunday class also that when Srila Prabhupada, when he would be greeted by someone and they would say Radhe Radhe, what would Prabhupada say? Hare Krishna. Right? It's the same, but the word Radhe is very intimate. It's only very, it should not be used like just by, just without any um, knowledge of who she is. It's very intimate. That is why in our line, even in Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukadev Goswami does not use the word Radha. Only in one place he says, and that is also he combines with some other word. Because whenever he would say Radha, he would not be able to speak any further if because he had that it would bring so much of ecstatic symptoms. And he also wants to keep the name of Srimati Radharani very not to be misused. So the name of Srimati Radharani is very intimate and it cannot be misused. That's my understanding, Prabhu. There could be other reasons, but at least Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us this mantra, which is non-different. The word Hare is non-different from Srimati Radharani.
Hara? He is Vishnu
No, Hare is calling out to Srimati Radharani. Like Hara is Mother, Mother Hara is the energy of Krishna. And when we say Hare, it's calling out. It's like saying, Hey, rule.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
a female, male, I mean, Rao, Hari,
Mm.
Hari is.
Hari. Yeah. Hari is Krishna.
So female is Ra, male is.
Yeah. Hari is Krishna's another name. But in the Mahamantra, we just have 3 words. Yeah. 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 So Mother Hara is female, and the energy of Krishna. Hari is another name of Krishna. Right. That's true. So we do not confuse this. So it's also important. That is why we say the mantra. We try our best to say the mantra properly. We do not say Hari Krishna, Hari Krishna. It's Hari is not same as Hari. Hari is Krishna's another name, but Hare is you are calling out to Mother Hara. Right? Rama, it's not Ramo also. Ramo. It's sometimes it comes out as Ramo, but there is one instance where Prabhupada heard someone say Ramo, and he was saying, "What is this Ramo? I never taught you Ramo. This is Rama. Don't destroy my movement," he said. don't cause disturbance by saying this. So um, Rama, Hare, and Krishna. Of course, we are not Sanskrit experts. We will not be pronouncing Krishna. It's actually in Sanskrit. It's supposed to be Krishna. Imagine saying that every time you chant. But as much as possible, we try to pronounce it properly because it's Krishna himself. I know devotees from so many other countries who are not able to chant mantras properly. La, ma, la, they cannot say ra, la. So, but Krishna accepts. Yeah. So yeah, that is why it's important to first take shelter of Krishna's energy before we approach Krishna. That is why we take shelter of Srimati Radharani before we approach Krishna. That is why we say Hare before we say Krishna. Then Bibi Govinda Maharaj, he would say, when you chant, the first word Hare is the most important. Hare Krishna, Hare. You should really focus on the first word, Hare. I heard him say this. It really, and then you get uh, inspiration to say Krishna's all the Krishna's. Actually, every word in the Mahamantra has a meaning. The first word Hare has a meaning. The second word Krishna has a meaning. The third word Hare has another meaning than the first word Hare. There is a meaning. HNS. So 16 meanings. Yeah. It's quite. So we can go dive deeper and deeper and deeper. And every time it's always fresh and fresh. This is the Mahamantra because Krishna is not different from the Mahamantra, and it's always ever increasing. My best meaning of the word is what once Prabhupada he said. When you chant the Hare Krishna mantra, you are saying, my friend, my friend, my friend. You're just calling out to your friend. This is one of my best meaning that Srila Prabhupada gave. He gave so many other, and it's all true. It's all addressing Krishna. Anything else? Anyone would like to? Bro, what is the condition here?
Actually, at 14 minutes, started to make breakfast.
Wow.
Mataji comes after you and Nirambra and Mataji. They actually will be responsible for this.
Okay.
maybe a little
Okay.
late, but
Interesting. What did
it's for broken. It is.
yeah, for breaking it is not a problem. Krishna has to.
Krishna.
Yeah, for breaking we have time. Anyway, what day is today? Tuesday. Tuesday? Okay. Anyway, anyone would like to add anything?
You asked that Sri Sampradaya, are they consider Mother Lakshmi as Jivata? I think I don't think so. Why? Because if you see in the pastimes of Ranganatha
Mm.
and Goda Devi, another than Mother Lakshmi.
Mm.
So Jiva Tattva means always, moreover, they take the birth through this progeny.
No. Here it's saying Jiva Tattva, but eternally liberated in Vaikuntha. There are two types of Jiva. One is Nitya Baddha, Nitya Siddha. Eternally conditioned, eternally liberated. So here it's saying the Jiva, but always liberated. And, yeah, I have also not heard this. Here it says some authoritative Vaishnava disciplic succession. I was just thinking maybe Sri Sampradaya, but I'm not sure.
What I was thinking that whenever Mother Lakshmi appeared,
Mm.
she never born to any
Right.
people.
Mm.
Somehow or other, she was found as a small baby.
Mm. Yeah.
In case of if you see Mother Janaki, Sita,
Mm.
and in case of Goda Devi, she appeared at the bottom of the Tulsi tree.
Mm.
When Brugumani hit his leg on the chest of Lord Vishnu, Mother Lakshmi left and she appeared on the lotus flower.
I
On
think
that
so.
petals, Mother Lakshmi appeared.
Mother Lakshmi is also goddess of fortune. So Srila Prabhupada would say, don't try to enjoy Mother Lakshmi separately from Krishna. So don't try to enjoy only Lakshmi without Narayan. You put Lakshmi to Narayan, that is the real enjoyment. So whatever Lakshmi we have, we give it to Narayan. That is real enjoyment. If we try to enjoy only money, but we do not serve Narayan, it's like kidnapping Mother Sita and trying to enjoy like Ravan. That is demoniac mentality. Right? So trying to enjoy Lakshmi without Narayan is a demoniac mentality. And Lakshmi Devi is said to be very chanchal. Chanchal means flickering. She does not stay in one place for too long. So that is why you see people grow rich and then they grow poor. Yeah, sometimes rich, poor, rich, poor. But if you have Narayan, she will always stay with you. If you are worshipping Narayan, Mother Lakshmi is always with Narayan. So we don't have to worry so much about Lakshmi. We worship Narayan and Lakshmi will come. Once Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he would go out for book distribution and he would collect money in a conch. They would take these conch and they would go around the street selling magazines and they would ask for donation on a conch. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj, every day he was sending report. Not every day, but report of every day. He was sending to Prabhupada, today we collected this much. This day we collected this much. This day we collected this much. And Prabhupada wrote back to him, he said, don't be so concerned about money. If Krishna wants, he can give you the whole America. The question is, what will you do with it? So if Krishna sees that we are capable of handling that money, he can give us everything, the whole America or whatever. But we are not ready to handle that money. That's why he's not providing. Right? If he gives us money right now, what will we do with it? I don't know. So, so Krishna gives like a father. Like a father does not give what we want. The father gives what we need. There is a difference. We want something, but we don't need it. And so that's Lakshmi, goddess of fortune.
With the whole community worship Lakshmi. Out for example, then got Narayan and also for so praying to Lakshmi, got a lot of out.
Yeah. Yeah, so we can worship someone to as a way to worship Krishna. Yeah, like sorry, I meant like you can worship like the gopis. They were praying to Katyaya Nima to have Krishna as their husband. They were praying to Mother Durga to have Krishna as their husband. So this we can do. So we pray to Lord Shiva that he can engage us in Krishna's service. Because Krishna is the topmost Vaishnava in this material world. We can pray to Mother Lakshmi to give us some Lakshmi to use in Krishna's service. But most of the time it's for us. In Nepal we have a day during Diwali called Lakshmi Puja, where everyone they love worship Mother Lakshmi. And there is no mention of Narayan there. Yeah. There is no Narayan in the picture. They have only Mother Lakshmi in the picture. Like they have a big picture of all this, very big picture, and Lakshmi ji is sitting. There is no Lord Narayan there. She is on the throne and people worship. There are so many pujas. It's called Lakshmi. It's very famous in Nepal. I don't know how famous it is.
Mainly people, Marwadi people, they perform this Lakshmi. Like all Acharya says that we should worship Shakti with Shaktiman. Lakshmi combination, like then only you will get the result more. But if you neglect one person and if you do something, like as Prabhu says that always Sita Ram, Uma Maheshwar, or Lakshmi Narayan, or Lakshmi Venkateshwar, always Shakti comes first, then
So when we go to Vrindavan also we take shelter of Radharani first. So this is the Prabhupada would say Radharani is so merciful that if some servant comes in trying to serve Krishna, she says, this devotee is more advanced than me. And then she engages, she tells Krishna, this person is more advanced than me. That is her mood. She's so special. There is one story I will finish here. Sachinandan Maharaj said this story, that there was once a flower who didn't have a very good smell. In Vrindavan, this flower did not have very good smell. And the flower, because in Vrindavan everything is conscious, everything has consciousness. The flower is also fully conscious of its position and they are trying to serve Krishna. But this flower did not have any, how do you say, good smell or fragrance. Didn't have any good fragrance. So the flower was thinking, I will commit suicide. So the flower, and what I will do is I will fall down from the plant. Krishna will come, trample on my feet, and that's how I will leave my body. I will do this. So the flower fell down, and I forgot the name of the flower. There is a name of the flower. Shira, something, but and the flower falls down. Radharani sees this flower. She comes, she picks up the flower and puts the flower on Krishna's head. So this is Srimati Radharani. She is very merciful. So she comes and picks a flower that does not have any fragrance and puts it on Krishna's crown actually. So that's why the flower then comes to be known as Shira Pushpa or something like that. I have to check. But this flower is always in Krishna's crown now. And so, Srimati Radharani ki jai, Lakshmi Narayana ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Prabhu.
Sacisuta Prabhu ki jai.